run at these Philadelphia Eagles, the defending NFC champions. A 5-point winner here over New England. Mac Jones aired it out 54 times to the tune of 316 yards. But Jalen Hurts and company, enough to get it done with new coordinators on both sides of the ball. It's 1-0 for the Birds. And for more, let's get you out to Foxborough, where our lead voice, Tony Romo, joins us with analysis on the back end of this one. Crazy fourth quarter, Tony, back and forth battle. A lot of resolve shown here by New England. But I want to start here with the reigning NFC champions. When you know what it takes to get where you're trying to go, can it make things harder in moments like these early in a season when you know there's so many axe swings out in front of you?
Well, yes and no. I mean, you really do take it day by day and game by game in the National Football League, but this was a really important game for multiple reasons, and one of them is game one that anyone's going to have, you know, to watch as a team and as coaching staff. Like, you have like 5 months because you want to get off to such a good start. So this first game or two, you're studying these guys, the anticipation. You're like, I'm just going to go watch more tape, and it's, you know, April on the first opponent. So that was scary for me if I'm an Eagles fan, because no one really had a great answer for how to slow this offense down. It was almost self-imposed when they would kind of have a lull here and there. So to me, if Belichick put together an incredible plan and slows you down completely, the rest of the league copies that, then you got to change. So I think this is a huge victory for them. And they did have 4 3-and-outs during a stretch, which is the most that Jalen Hurts has had, and they didn't have any last year when he was playing quarterback. So I think that they have to go back and, you know, fix some things, but I do think winning is what it's all about. It's hard to win on the road. The Eagles are fine. They're going to be in this thing all the way to the end. They're still right there as a class of the NFC.
New coordinators on both sides of the ball here, Tony, as both head to other places for head coaching jobs. Did you see any pressure points in that vein, the continuity that you're looking for earlier in the season for a team as talented as the Eagles?
Yeah, I mean, that's always going to be a little bit of like a work in progress. It's like the coordinator and the coach, or the coordinator and the quarterback are going to be in sync. And the longer you're with someone and the way you see things, it's like a synergy that makes it super easy, or it can take a little bit. But then once you get it, you're like, got it. He really wants this in these situations. And the last 4th and 2 call, I was like, having the ability to use his legs a little bit. I mean, I think that those are the subtle things that you'll see that could change. And I think both teams are just learning their teams right now, right? The coordinators, you got to see them when everything's going live, and I think that you get a lot of data then, and they'll keep improving, both of them.
Yeah, trying to establish that identity here early in the season. It's one of the buzzwords we love to throw around, and identity in Foxborough was assumed for the better part of 2 decades. I mean, it was celebrated at halftime in some ways. As they try and reestablish an identity, did you see glimpses of what they have to be if they want to be relevant, competitive in this division?
Oh, yeah, I mean, well, if you almost beat the Eagles, who I think are one of the 3 teams, I think you're going to find that you're going to, you know, I said earlier in the game, this team's going to be competitive all year. There'll be a game here and there, but for the most part, no one's walking over this team. They are too dynamic on defense, too multiple. They got size, they got speed, they're intelligent, still young too. And I think that you're going to find this offense was what I really wanted to see. And today they really showed up against an incredible front, and they you know, kind of held them at bay, and they had a great plan. Bill O'Brien's going to help. I think the Patriots are for real this year. Now, maybe the hardest schedule, definitely for the division in ball, and that you could be a good team and not make the playoffs because of that. But we'll see. I think the Patriots are going to be just fine this year.
Everybody's trying to get to Vegas. We know our Tony Romo will be there. Tony, we appreciate your thoughts here out of week 1. Be well, my friend. Bryant McFadden here to react to what we saw out of Philadelphia and New England. Very impressed by what the Patriots were able to do. They don't come away with a win, but the effort that they showed till zeros on the clock here was much more cut from the cloth of Bill Belichick than what we saw over the last couple seasons.
Yeah, that defense is pretty good. I mean, they might not blow you away with household names on every level, but they got some guys that have been bought into the program, and they executed rather nicely against a championship-like team, a very, very talented offense led by Jalen Hurts. I understand we look at the final score as 25, but let's keep it real. That New England Patriots defense only surrendered 18 points. Remember, it was a pick 6 by big play Darius Slay that kind of got jump-started things for the Eagles. But outside of that, that, they did a great job in slowing down Jalen Hurts. He only had 170 yards, 1 touchdown. Get this, only averaged 5.2 yards per pass. So they kept things in front of them, and they harassed. Unfortunately for the Patriots, Mac Jones and the offense kind of got to the party rather late. That pick six was huge. He kind of did some nice things in the second half. I think that's a building block for moving forward when you look at his total numbers, over 300 yards, some touchdowns as well. But this is a Patriots team that I felt like going in today's ball game, we would get a good understanding on what they could be, especially if they get the offense rolling. Because one thing about Belichick, defensively, we always know they're going to be an opportunistic group. They're going to force you in difficult situations, and they're going to ball out. Hopefully the offense can get things going.
Mac, I know your Super Bowl experiences were ones of celebration. Such was not the case for the Philadelphia Eagles a year ago. But when you're trying to build off a season where you played on the final day on the calendar, what are some of those struggles early in a year to build off of what you were trying to do, but also realize that this is a different group?
Well, you have to understand this is a different group, and you have to realize every time you step on the football field, Joe, you're going to get the opposing team's best effort. It's like a championship for the New England Patriots. It's like a championship for Washington, because you got to the promised land even though you did not hoist the sticky Lombardi. And then we have to factor this into the equation as well. Jalen Hurts didn't play one snap in a preseason ball game. We saw the joint practices, practice reps, but it's different when you're not involved in game-like action, even though it's the preseason play. So I felt like it would take some time for us to see the Jalen Hurts that we saw last year, because he didn't get any meaningful snaps in the preseason. One thing Mike Tomlin stated, it's hard to box without sparring. You know what I mean?